I'm Karen Pamplin-Brown and I'm the Gasworks History Project researcher along with my colleague Greg. We research the history, we're meeting local people, we're trying to find out as much as we can about the site.
I've lived in Folkestone all my life. For me it's basically always been empty.
As a kid this was just like a wasteland we used to kind of play on a bit.
So there used to be gasworks here. I don't know how long ago, to be honest with you. I think it's obviously got a load of history that is kind of waiting to be kind of unearthed.
I just never really thought about it until really the Triennial and Jill Bradley's work. That was the first time really it sort of featured in my life beyond that.
I didn't know about this site. That was what was really, really kind of like strange. You know, I knew the area like the back of my hand. I got a phone call one day at work and it was just like, hello, this is David, I live in Bradston Road and my bedroom window overlooks a dump. What do you mean a dump? And he said, Ford Road, you know, the old gasworks site. We did a bit of research and we sort of found out that the Creative Foundation were interested in the site for the Triennial.
Lewis Biggs, who's the curator of Folkestone Triennial, I introduced him to this site in this area as a place where you know, it needed to be opened up to the public again. It had to have a new life.
I've been working as a town sprucer since 2013. One of the projects was coming over here, litter picking.
And one of the litter picks, we leafleted all around this area up to Ship Street, and one of the houses at the back there, their family came over. The mum said that her kids enjoyed that more than going to Chessington the day before.
Opening the gate was very powerful because suddenly people that have been shut out, who've lived around here with this huge gaping kind of hole for years, suddenly had access to the site and were able to enjoy it.
The history of that site before the gasworks is that it was just fields. It was quite rural in the village of Ford for hundreds of years.
There was a mill on that site and some windmills as well, but it was really a village, or even before the village it would have just been countryside outside the small town that was Folkestone.
And then they built the viaduct in 1843. There were 12 really nice villas on the site. They were only there for about 20 years and then they moved the gasworks there.
Decisions were made to focus the industrial side of Folkestone on the east side along the Pennant Stream.
And from there it's been about the industrialisation of that area in a really big way.
And the community grew, lots of local shops opened.
The gasworks then stayed open until 1956. They stopped producing gas, and then the holders remained on the site until the turn of the millennium, more or less, when they were all demolished. And from then on, it's been empty and unused until Jill Bradley's work was done in 2014. Now it's us. We're the most recent bit of history.
We just began initially by finding out what local people knew about the area. So we set up a memory cafe, which was actually on the gasworks site.
Well, my memories are back in the 50s when I was at school. We came to the gasworks and it was really good. We enjoyed it. It's quite an exciting place. Blast furnaces going, producing gas and coal for Folkestone.
It was huge. To a young child, it was huge, and I didn't like looking at it. It just overpowered me as a young kiddie.
It was our playground, that whole block and the gasworks themselves. Good for football, good for kind of hide and seek.
I grew up in the area around the gasworks, and it was just the sort of thing that you walked past on your way to somewhere and you were aware of the gasometers were sort of like the colour of the sea.
You pass them most every day if you're going to the town, and I used to work in Taylor Ross and the Builders under the arch there, and I passed it every day. So when it went, you did miss it. But one of my great nieces, when she was tiny, she said, oh, look, there's all the world there, because you could see all over Folkestone once they were down. And she thought that was the world.
Yes, there is an emptiness in the sky, but only if you knew that there was something there before.
You felt that sort of Folkestone in itself was slightly separate from where you lived because there was all these shops. It created a sense of community there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I think you didn't have to go any further than the corner shop.
You didn't need to go to the town shopping. You got everything handy, all in the little corner shops. All gone now.
My memories of Ford are when it was still a thriving place back in the 1980s, early 90s. See it now and see how much it's changed and how much it's gone. It's quite a revelation.
When was the last time you stood here? 95 for me.
Yeah, probably about the same. 95 was when they sold it, when we closed it.
Yeah. I was in my 30s then, and I suppose I've been part of the history, and it's like a ghostly thing to come back and see a site that's not as it was. I wonder how those people are still with us, you know, what history's with them. Yeah, interesting.
The gasworks served to actually provide gas for a town that was being developed much more to the west, and that's probably its legacy. And actually the area of Ford historically has maybe been left with the sort of short straw in that regard of just having this empty site.
I think the Gasworks was not just a place to work, it was about a social network. And the hub was the Gasworks, and there's something about that network that's kind of been broken. And I'm hoping that whatever happens in the future will create a new network.
Why not something here for the people? Why not change this to something that people can use? I think, yes, we need housing, but I also think this is something that could be used as an open space, as it were.
If you look around the country, there's been some really nice, interesting developments with gasworks. Even if you didn't really build any homes or anything, when you go on the site at the moment, where it's been left and it's actually got a bit of wildlife, it's really quite like an oasis really in that area of town. And it'd be nice if it was just a walk through and there was a path through there that connected up sort of from down to the station to that area.
To even have some sort of like trees or a garden where people in the community, like a square even, where we could just go and walk.
Suddenly to have some people asking some questions about it and looking at things in a slightly different way, it's hopefully stimulated people's interest and actually served maybe as something to start a community kind of movement to do something about it.
I really like it. I'm kind of...
It's a big area, and this space and community has traditionally been disenfranchised, impoverished. So I think it's a chance to actually make this a space that lifts the entire area. Society is operating differently in terms of speed, connection, the way that we relate to one another. I think remembering local memories and kind of the memories of community can be really powerful. I suppose it's kind of important to capture the memories of people, so the place kind of represents what came before it.
People that have grown up in the town or lived in the town, they've got memories of these places that shouldn't really just be forgotten about.
There's not many people that probably know there was gasometers here, you know. It's only of our age.
It's important to kind of remember Folkestone in that way. It's a community, and it's changed a lot. But what was there then is important to what's there now.
And in 10 years' time, this could just be a whole bunch of housing, and nobody would know what the history was here before. So hopefully it'll be used in a sympathetic way to its history.
That idea of asking questions about a place that is normally seemingly insignificant to most people, but actually on a personal level, the street you lived on, the place that your dad worked, the streets that you walked along to go to work are really important to your memories, and they help define who you are. I think from a personal point of view and a community point of view, these kinds of projects are really important to help communities think about what's important in a community, to think about our heritage, where we came from, why we are what we are today. And communities change all the time. Society changes, but also the microcosm that is the community around the gasworks has changed in such a short space of time. So I think it's really important to reflect on the past to make sure that the future's an interesting place to be for our community.